I'm gonna start off by first naming the parts of the instrument. This is the correct working end. Sorry, this is the working end. This is the terminal shank. This is the shank. This is the handle. In terms of the pen grasp, so we have our index finger and our thumb finger making a soft C. This is how we're going to hold our instrument and roll the instrument. It's going to be held by our fat pads of our fingers. The middle finger rests on the shank, and this offers the stability. It feels for vibrations and also provides us with feedback. Our ring finger is going to be our fulcrum, and we place it on either the incisal edge or the occlusal edge depending on which tooth you're working on. And it allows us to use the bigger muscles and not our fingers, not the muscles of our fingers. The little finger, there's no use for it. It's just mostly staying out of the way. In terms of my mantra, so I'm neutral. My hip is slightly above my knee. My patient would be in maxillary position. So I'll go ahead and I'll start off with the central incisor. Tooth number 8. I'd go to 8 o'clock. And 8 o'clock is toward surfaces. So to determine the right working end, bump to the tooth. So this would be the correct working end toward surfaces. This would not be the correct working end. So correct working end. So we close. Toe third would be the only part of the instrument that's in the sulcus. So middle, close, insert, open. The interproximal, we roll and roll into the interproximal, and then we do the lingual side. So since this was the correct working end on the buccal side, we flip the instrument, bump to the tooth just to make sure, and this would be the correct working end. So for this, it would be the same thing. We would close, insert, open. And make sure that the instrument is parallel at the interproximal. And then we go ahead and we do the away surfaces. So for my away surfaces, I go to 12 o'clock. Sorry for the sniffles. So on 12 o'clock, we're gonna do away surfaces. So to determine that, we could do the same thing, bump to the tooth. So this would be the correct working end. If we flip it, this would not be the correct working end. So we start off at the middle, close, insert, open. Making sure that the toe third is in the sulcus. Go interproximal. And then for the lingual side, non-dominant hand with a fulcrum on the mirror, fulcrum on the cheek. Flip the instrument, bump to tooth just to verify this is the correct working end. So we go ahead and we start at the middle portion and then go to the mesial. So we go middle, insert, open, making sure that just the toe third, proximal, making sure that it's parallel. For my posterior, so that would be the maxillary anterior. For my maxillary posterior, I would have my patient, my tapetum in this case, turn their head to the left. Non-dominant hand with my mirror and fulcrum. I would be working on tooth number 3, and I will be on 9 o'clock working on this tooth. So to determine the right working end for this, it would be V to the D. We could put it interproximal and see that this would be V to the D. So this is the correct working end. This would not be the correct working end. So for posterior teeth, we start at the distal line and then go interproximal and then come back out, distal line to the mesial and interproximal. So we'll go ahead and we'll start off with that first. So close, insert, open. Interproximal. Making sure that the instrument is parallel at the interproximal. We take out, flip, distal line, toe third in, close, insert, open. Just making sure that the toe third, roll, that the toe third is in the sulcus and making sure that it's parallel when it gets to the interproximal. That would be for the buccal side. For the lingual side, I would have my patient turn their head towards me. In this case, I will work on tooth number 3. This is not the correct working end, so we flip V to the D. So we start off at our distal. So we distal line, close, insert, open. Into the interproximal, out, flip, distal line, close, insert, open. Making sure that just the toe third is in there. Going into the interproximal. For the mandibular, I'm going to try my best to get my typodont in a mandibular position, but we do need to change. So that's the best that I could get it. So I'll go ahead for the mandibular. I'm gonna do also another central. I will do I'll do number 25 for the central. Same way we could determine the right working end. I'm at 8 o'clock for the central. So this would not be the correct working end. Sorry, this would not be the correct working end for toward surfaces. This would be for away. So we flip the instrument, bump to tooth. This would be the correct working end. Middle, close, insert, open. Making sure that just the toe third is in there. And then for the lingual side, we flip the instrument, bump to the tooth, bump to the tooth, make sure that this is the correct working end. This is pointing toward surfaces, so this would be the correct working end. So we go middle, close, insert, open. Make sure at the end that the tooth is that the instrument is parallel. And then for the away surface, I go to 12 o'clock again. In this case, I'm gonna slightly modify it because it's gonna be a little bit hard for me to see. So I just modified it a little bit, but I'm still in my 12 o'clock position working on away surfaces. So same thing for this. We do bump to the tooth. So in this case, bump to the tooth, this is pointing away. So this would be the correct end. This would not be the correct end. So we do the same thing. Middle, close, insert, open.